Alright, perfect. Now I can hear myself think again. Welcome to the first live stream of Scape-oween. Today we are painting Morgoloth, the VC Demon Lord. And we're just going to get some paint on him. Hello, Wolf Demon Wizard. Welcome. We are just painting this unit. It is a pewter cast from Temple of the West, a online seller. Once I re-upload this video, I'll be sure to link it. And I assembled it, primed it black, and today we're just going to get some color on it for a little bit. Just wanted to test out the layout for future live streams. I hope everyone's doing well tonight. It is a late stream, but it's been a long week, so I just wanted to get some paint on some models and thought now might as be a good time as any. So let's just kind of get into it. So first off, we are just going to start basing the whole plot of the model with a dark umber, just to for Procreate, just to start kind of building up these colors. Alright, let's get this going here. And we are prepping this channel for more spooky stuff, and I am loving it. We've had a lot of reveals for Heroscape lately, and lots of new stuff dropping, which has stopped the flow of the stuff I really want to do, which is the scary stuff. It's rather impressive how this pewter model just maintains so much more detail than the 3D scan of it. It really is just rather nice to work with. I don't work with metal too much, so it took a little bit to figure out how to assemble it all together. But I think we finally got them to a pretty stable point here. And we're just putting up this dark tone here really fast using a big brush. And making sure we're in focus. I did make some changes to my focus after I noticed there were some issues, and hopefully we got that resolved here. Just changing the music I listen to real fast. It's not fitting the right vibes. There we go, some more gothic music on my end at least. Will inspire me thus so. Of course, if you have an airbrush, which I do have, it's a lot faster just to spray brush this whole thing to the appropriate color you want, but I don't want to break it out. I'm still learning airbrushes as it's kind of a whole separate tool to use. But I really do enjoy it for priming, especially in the upcoming cold months. Today was the first day that felt relatively enjoyable, at least from where I was at. It's been like 90s for the last couple weeks. We're definitely be layering up many of these colors to a brighter tone, but he has like lots of bits of dark brown all over him, and that'd just be easier to kind of create more of a unified tone for all of them. base coating is never the sexiest thing to do, but it is, of course, the most important. And you have to set this, get all your base colors in before you start moving to the more fun layering and blending and all that kind of stuff. This is more of a test stream more than anything, just making sure everything's kind of made some good changes. So we're really just making sure today that all the that everything is working properly. I think I might have finally resolved my focus issue, but we're waiting to see. Honestly, that's why I have that sticker in the background. That is just how I quickly reference the fact if I'm in focus or not. Because if it's on that sticker, I know I'm not focused, which helps. There we go. This guy has lots of pale, bony flesh colors that we'll definitely be working towards. He unfortunately doesn't work. I don't have like I'm worried about him. He's kind of heavy, so I don't think he'll work on my grill attack here. But let's see if I can get a bit better without having to hold him the entire time. It's going to fall off. I'll have to do the bottom part separately. And that's okay. I could base him onto his base, but of course, Heroscape bases already have their stickers on it, and I don't want to get any paint on that until at least I get the appropriate spots done. There's lots of little angles and curves, so we're just making sure we hit all those. Just using kind of a very thin, strong tone, just to thin but complete coverage is what I meant to say, just to cover them all right here. We're gonna let this guy sit and dry. I do have this bramble top here, that Frono, that I'm also just going to be painting while I wait for layers to dry. Because they do share very similar color schemes. I'm going to start base him with a red gray from Pro Grill. While not entirely spooky, I do feel like he kind of fits the vibe, at least. There we go. Alright. I personally like working with solid black and building up the colors myself, but I probably should have done a little bit of dry brushing over these guys just to have them show up a bit better on camera. I'll say I do feel like this is just a bit too red, so we're going to mix a bit of drab brown into it just to really kind of darken this down a bit here. Drab brown from Procurl is one of my favorite colors that they've released. It's just a very versatile kind of brown. This guy is small, so definitely have to be wary of both the focus and the details here. Back to old Morgie here. So that's enough the layers dry. Now let's start taking that drab brown that we're using on the other model, and let's start blending this in. Mix a little bit of that dark umber with it, just to create a slightly darker tone. And I'm going to start just kind of sketching out this space here. Thankfully, this guy is really, has some really well-defined edges and lines. So it's really just kind of we're catching the edge of these definition, these details with our brush. Trying to leave these deepest recesses kind of filled with this dark brown. No idea how long we're streaming today. I have had a long week, so I may be getting tired sooner than normal. All right, just picking out these individual fingers here. I love a model with really good definition. Now we're just going to go over that with a little bit less of that brown mixed in. Spoopy time. I was kind of curious, do you think Renegade is going to keep up the release pace they currently have? I don't know. So the biggest thing is it feels like there's a lot of units because we have both G.I. Joe and Classic Scape both releasing. So the question is, how much does and they've said at least at Gen Con or other places that G.I. Joe is almost treated independently from from its releases. So it feels like a whole bunch, but if we just kind of had the waves all there, then I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I don't know if they are trying to yeah, I don't have a clear answer to that question. I feel like they're definitely going to be trying to hit that second quarter with some unique things. You know, there's hints of a new master set coming in on the horizon. So it really kind of comes down to, are they trying to get a bunch of things on the table really fast to boost sales? Are they trying to kind of see if they just have lots of options? Is it flood the market? We'll know second quarter, definitely for sure. I personally don't mind. I mean, it's just tough not getting things as they release, but I like being able to save up for different things and like, okay, I'll get this set now. So that's kind of a rambling way to answer yours. Like, I don't know. I know they have lots of ideas and lots of things they're excited to reveal. James, yes, you have Morgoloth. Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. I was kind of like, wait, I don't have a Morgoloth in my collection. Need to remedy that this spooky season. Yeah, I like that drab brown. I almost want to kind of keep it more in line with this tone here, but we might not keep it as this. We're gonna take some bright neutral gray and mix that in with our drab brown. And we're just kind of building up these layers here. Kind of give him more that pale look he has. We're focusing around the edges of the eyes and the mouth here. Yeah, I think it's really just the G.I. Joe is throwing a wrench in kind of our perceptions of what it is. So the question is do we have more, you know, tie-ins coming out in the future? Perhaps Renegade the Masquerade, or Vampire the Masquerade, or Transformers. I feel like Power Rangers is the next obvious step to take. I feel like it would fit fairly well into the Heroscape battle system. I think Transformers has a lot of, like, you have the combat there, but I just think the scale and the transform mechanics would be really hard to adapt. But I definitely see it coming. I see actually a pretty consistent stream of things for 2026, and then tariffs are hit, and I think we'll be kind of in a dead period upon further thought about it. Next year will be really big, and they'll be like, in 2027 we'll be like, where's the Heroscape at? Just as things get more and more expensive to release, they'll probably have like the master set, and that'll probably be like it. Maybe like a supplemental set. I haven't figured out what I'm going to be for Halloween. I usually am well prepared by this time. And I have no idea. Costumes are just getting so expensive now. I'll have to kind of be creative this year, I think. I'll probably do a live stream one time with a Heroscape costume on, at least, if I can scrounge one up. Maybe I've had the pieces of a Moorsbane costume in my cart for a while. I found a fun moose hat on Amazon that I'm gonna try out. Alright, and we're gonna take some just pure black and go to the tips of these horns here. I'm going to take that brown and kind of blend it together like so. Kind of make more of a smooth transition. If I was really motivated, I would get an airbrush and do certain sectors here. I always have to look at Morgoloth because I always kind of forget how his we don't have very many good images of what he looks like. Alright, so his whole face is mainly that blue. Let's see here. Do I want to be lazy or do I want to layer this up classically? Let's layer this up classically, I think is what we'll do. Until I get lazy. So let's get a nice dark blue. Some deep water blue. And we're gonna thin this down just a bit. And put it on the necessary areas right here. Am I trying to aim for an accurate official paint scheme of Morgoloth? Relatively so. I'll make whatever changes I feel along the way. This is just for me, so it's I'll make the appropriate changes as I feel it. But for the most part, I'm trying to get at least the general vibe. I might do a little extra things or tweak some colors, but I'm not really trying to rewrite his book too much. I'm kind of shifting the colors a bit more neutrally, just instead of a little bit more, because they kind of have that flat plasticky look. So I'm trying to. It's going to be like I'm not trying to make it 100% color match or anything like that. I'm just going to go with vibes today. We're just taking that pure neutral gray and just getting these last little highlights in. Yeah, I've been wanting to build Morgoloth into an army for a bit. I was hoping the Knucklevi would be unique, so you can put him like in a cleric build. But I think Morgoloth and Knucklevi will be a really fun army to run. I mean, 8 moves with three ranged and a line, you know, is a pretty nasty combo. Ability to do 4 attack in that line. I mean, that can be spicy. I think Knucklevi is probably one of my favorite reveals of the stream. The more I like it, the more I think about it, the more I like it. Just just what it can do and how it looks. Some people don't like the look of it, but I'm thinking more just the unpainted model. There's just so much we can build up and do on that. Let's get a brighter color going here. And we're gonna get some jade from Pro Acryl. Actually, we might do a tone brighter. We're gonna do some dark jade. You picked up a bunch of proxy of Acolytes of Orgrimmar and looking forward to playing a demon army soon. Yeah, I keep on like going back to it. I'm like, I want to try this out, and then I'm always kind of like, try something else. They're just like they're a fun army to play. It looks like. I think I've played them one time, but not like optimally. I like any unit that can just bring guys to the front of the field. It's interesting how much of Morgoloth is really that glowing face right there. Let's start working on kind of like his open red stuff. I think that's like his organs or his heart or something. Let's find a nice dark red to work with here. Alright, got a black red from Pro Grill. Yeah, the Knuckle V is a really well made design. It's simple. I like that we are getting a bit of the some more simple, intuitive designs back into the fray. I like complicated designs, but I also like introducing new people to the game and just getting something like, oh, I get what this does, but also still kind of complicated enough to have some risk and some reward. I like Knuckle. I like Knuckle. You play Onshu and the Demon, you have Sonic and Knuckles right there. Yeah, Revna is slowly getting this really interesting synergy web amongst all her units. There's lots of army building potential, which I'm excited about. That's actually, I mean, it's spoilers, but that's what I'm working on as the capstone to Scape-oween is a very in-depth Revna deep dive. Something a little bit different than what I normally do here. I've been wanting to make some deep dive lore videos for a while, and I think we finally have enough information for some things I want to explore. Alright, what does this source look like here? I think he has kind of glowing swords as well. Huh, they have like a very bright tone to them. Alright, interesting. Maybe we'll switch kind of silver types on them. Which is something interesting. I'll have to think on that for a moment. Let's start layering up his face a bit more. We're going to grab some Hydra Turquoise. And mix that in with a bit of the dark jade we used. Keep it nice and bright. And we might want to add just a bit more moisture to that. If you're not wanting to do all this, you can just use some like blue metallic paint and you get probably a more accurate effect. But I want to really make it feel like it's glowing and taking over his face. All right, let's start working on this cape. So one difference I do want to make on the cape is give him a bit of blending of black towards the bottom of it, like his horns. I almost want it to go from red. I'm contemplating making it red, but I don't want to like distract from the center. Maybe just a little bit of red kind of blending into this this brown here. Just to make it look like it was once some kind of tattered robe. And I guess we could start building up his little armor too. Using light umber now for this. Maybe a smaller brush, maybe not the big brush. And my voice has been going out for a little bit, so I'm sorry if I if I sound a little squeaky today. That's actually why I haven't streamed in a while. I haven't even been able to talk for a couple weeks. I got kind of sick, and finally I think I'm good enough to at least show up back on camera here. And we're kind of doing like a very soft dry brush on his armor here. I'm not really ever sure to do with this armor. I don't know if I want to go into metallics or kind of keep it more like that tone. Kind of like just keeping it simple like this. That's the part I hate about the model, is just this whole center area just gets all kind of crowded up, and I don't know what to do with those details individually. I like Morgoloth, but he's too expensive in Delta. He needs to go down. That's the problem I have with Delta, is like I really like a unit, and they're not even like the most powerful unit, but somehow they just get this inexplicable like price hike. Like, I'm so sad that they also, I think sometimes are just a little bit reactive to units that are good at a specific thing. Like, I don't think Queen Maladrix needed to be 190 points. Like, anything outside of, you know, like contemporary format right now, she's not going to do as well in, just because there's not any heroes to infest. And I don't think Adalburn should be as high as he is either. Like, I don't think Adalburn's better than Grimnack. But those are just my opinions. Scions are being delivered tomorrow. I'm going to paint them all red. Yeah, make them unified. I have no idea what I'm doing with the Scions yet. I have several packs, so thankfully I have some options. I never feel the need to make things uniform. I get bored painting the same thing after a while. I'll do one standard just for... I like doing it standard just because I kind of have to. I have to show people how it looks with the classic colors, but definitely got to add a green wormling in there. I got to paint one looking like Spyro, of course. And yeah, that's all the ideas I have for now. Maybe one looking like, I have a kind of a Pokemon theme going, so maybe one like Dragonite too, because I'm painting one of the Gallery looking like Slow King, and my Krakenling like an Omanite. Alright, let's just kind of tab a bit of highlights here. Haven't heard Spyro mentioned in a long time. Yeah, he's definitely faded to the kind of the mist of time for sure. I played him when I was a kid, but I had no idea what I was doing. I could never get like past the level where you had to like get all the sheep, like the you know, like the starting level of Spyro 1. Alright, we're gonna get a bit of yellow ochre just to add some definition and some separation to his cloak. We're gonna mix that in with the brown we've been using here. Yeah, I always thought Spyro was cool. I always wanted Spyro and Smash Bros. That would have been cool. But like, I could tell you nothing about Spyro lore. It's just something that I remember trying to play like as a kid when I had like a PS1 or something. It's a fun design, I think. There's so many like good games out there that I think could use some updates. Like I'm waiting for a new Captain Falcon game. I think they should make like an open world like Grand Theft Auto type of game. I think it would do really well. I should do a stream one day where I just play some games. My wife has been wanting to play some some indie games with me for a bit. She really enjoys playing Peak, and we got some on his little area down here. Which I'm bad at Peak, but you know, I think that's part of the fun of it. I'm always torn. Do I keep the channel relatively focused, or do I go into 10 of my other interests? Might have to start a Rogue Scaper too, where I just go onto my other fancies someday. Alright, there we go. And we're just kind of creating like this really mottled cape here, just lots of different brown tones. Get some flesh wash for his abdomen area. Yeah, Falcon Punch. Hopefully. Yeah, IPs. I do have a video I plan on making eventually of IPs I would love to see in it. Ironically, one of the answers is D&D. I would like D&D to make a return eventually someday, just to close off some gaps. I want to see Beholder and Heroscape, but like actual models for the system, I think would be really good. I want to see Star Wars. Although there's a lot of Star Wars miniature games out now, but I still think it would fit the Scape system pretty good. I think Lord of the Rings, like Games Workshop has a chokehold on Lord of the Rings, but man, it would fit Heroscape so well. Just like the market would go crazy for a pre-colored Lord of the Rings miniature game. Like that would sell like hotcakes right there. Alright, I think I'm just gonna do like copper metallics for his armor, like some dark brass maybe. I don't want to. I was thinking if I wanted to build those up, and I decided I don't. I can't really tell from the model if they are metallic or not. So I'm just gonna opt for not. If I can find it. Maybe I'll just tone them down. I cannot be lazy. That's the live streams reveal. I'm just a lazy panner. I'm just like, all right, what do I need to do to get this done? All right, so we're actually using some speed paint now, some dark wood, just to start kind of blending this down to a different direction. Because it was starting to kind of look a little bit too muddy with the rest of the model. And since we added some residual highlights, it does give it a bit of a kind of a flat coppery look to it. This big brush is honestly one of my favorites I've been using lately. It's just, it covers so much area, and with the chunky new Heroscape models, it's saving me so much time. Just say no to Heroscape Transformers. I'm not a Transformers fan. I see it happening, but just the scaling would be so bad, it would turn me off. I keep looking at the old Both combat hex figures for custom game figures. Yeah, I have the Savaris, one of those, but not Savarsa, the Legolas, one of those. I think. Or it might just be an old HeroClix model lying around here. But Lord of the Rings would do so well. You didn't even have to do like movie Lord of the Rings, just kind of like book Lord of the Rings. Just lots of fun stuff there. Anything that supports like wide armies with adjustable terrain, you know, it's like Lord of the Rings is almost too obvious for it. It would just do so well. I hope someday it comes, but licensing is where that will die. I would love almost like Universal movie tie-ins, like you know, like just like or like a horror movie kind of just tie-in with like Frankenstein, like some named movie characters. I think would be kind of cool. Let's build up his face highlights a little bit more. G.I. Joes, I see. I have no like. I'm happy for those who like G.I. Joe. I just have no experience with the brand at all, so it's hard for me to like know if it's even good like representation or not. But the models look cool. I'm glad that they at least didn't skimp on the models, and they do just look really cool. So I can just kind of pretend that they're Heroscape figures, but I just know nothing about it. Alright, let's start working on the sword here. And we're kind of taking the same formula we used here and applying it kind of to this little skull, making it look like it's kind of emanating out. Dark Jade. There was an Iron Maiden Magic set just announced. I wouldn't mind that Heroscape. Iron Maiden Magic. Oh yeah. Yeah, Magic has all the IPs now. I've never played Magic. People almost get shocked when I tell them that. I just honestly have been afraid that I might get hooked on another game, and I honestly I don't have in the budget to have another hobby. The idea of Heroscape really is a good spot for different crossovers, so they don't oversaturate Escape too much. Yeah, I think it's a balancing act. I just wish they would make it canonical. Like the fact that G.I. Joes are canonical to the Heroscape story is where I'm not super happy about it. But anything to help keep the game alive, like I'm all for that. I don't necessarily like how it kind of fits into the contemporary setting too much. Like that now I have to like know how G.I. Joe is going to affect like the meta and all that stuff. Like now I have to care about something I have no interest in caring about, which is tough. But yeah, there's just I think if there's sparse with it, I think there's just some really fun things that could happen here. Stay away from the cardboard crack and getting the current fix on plastic minis. Yeah, I have yeah, I got my packages in, and I also the same week received some promo packages from Renegade. So I have had like 12, 15 boxes just on my floor, and my wife walks in and she's like, "You have a legitimate problem," and I was like, "Yeah." But what a problem to have. Yeah, that's why I haven't really commented too much on like the prices or anything like that. I'm far too biased by my nostalgia and love for the game to really even say like this isn't right, or I think there's changes that need to happen. It's just like they have me hook, line, and sinker. So I'm not a biased representative for like the voice of the people. I do wish they were a little bit less pricey, but I mean, I just think it's just I think it's just the cost of board games. Board games all over are really struggling. So from what I've heard is that they really, you know, like the tariffs are definitely putting a crinkle in their plans. Like, it's just everything you have to consider under the guise of like importation fees. Even like OP kits and stuff like that are a little bit less hard to use now. Might be better to start a game like Marvel Arena the Planeswalker, yeah. And I forgot to tell what I'm doing. I'm taking some model color Vallejo, and we're just very thinly glazing over this to make it look a bit more like it's kind of all seamless here. Alright, we're gonna get some dark silver here in a second. Yeah, I would love to see some things. Honestly, I would love to see Pathfinder. I think it would be better than D&D in the system, just because it's a little bit different. But I think it'd be less popular. But I like Pathfinder like designs of units a bit more. Like their goblins are a lot better designed. Although I don't really enjoy playing Pathfinder that much. It's a little too crunchy for me. I ain't no good at math. Yeah, it's also a little bit tough out there. It's tough because board games had such a boom during the pandemic. You know, like the board game industry never had such high numbers because everyone was home playing games, and now it's progressively getting a little bit more hard to play. To have that luxury to play time or just do things. So it's. I hope Scape can make it through. I hope it finds the right balance of what it needs to do. To be kind of a pop culture mainstay would be great, but yeah, I don't want to say I would cry if the game got canceled again, but you know, it's been such just a fun time right now, just playing the game. Like, people get a little upset if you say the game, you know, died and came back. It didn't die, but it definitely has just grown so much. I'd like to see a World of Darkness vampire game that utilized the train system but had very different rules. See, I've never played World of Darkness, so I know little. You know what one I actually think would happen is Risk. Risk, like an official Risk Heroscape game. Like you kind of take like Risk 2210 and make that officially kind of like canon to Heroscape. I could see that happening. I actually hope they take their Ikusa or their Samurai Sword and just put that into Heroscape. I think that'd be, I mean, it's just at that point you're just having historical units, but I think that'd be kind of cool. My secret hope that I think I hope happens one day with the release of the lore book, makes me hopeful, is that we get more of a Heroscape RPG. I mean, Renegade has lots of experience making RPGs based off IPs, and that would be really fun to play, because sometimes you want to play Heroscape, but you don't want to, like, you know, it gives you more reason to explore the story and what's going on with everything. And I have a group of friends that'd be more willing to try RPGs and board games, so I think it's a potential way for it. They have a really good lore team working on it now, so fingers crossed. It'd be fun to, at the very least, get some new artwork and some kind of ways to engage with the game. The problem is it has to be good enough to justify not playing Heroscape, and that's the balancing act. No one would rather say, I'd just rather play Heroscape. But, you know, sometimes you just have a little bit more setup or things to worry about here. So we're just taking a little bit of this brown and this ivory that's on my palette here, and we're just getting these little cross stitches just picked out. don't even know how. I think it would be nice to get like some vehicles in the game, and I think Risk would be a good way to kind of incorporate that. But Risk is also just kind of very similar to it, so I'm not sure. But I think Star Wars would do really well. Just whole battalions of clones and stuff like that. I actually really love Heroes of Star Wars Scape when they were making custom units. I thought they were doing great jobs. I'm so sad they stopped. But I get why they did, but like... it was cool units they were designing. What do you think of the pirate ship? I personally like the pirate ship a whole lot. For several reasons. The only thing I don't like is the griffin on front of it, which I get, like, it ties to the lore, but I wish they had changeable figureheads, you know, because like a figurehead's kind of supposed to be like the emblem of your ship or whatever, and I feel like it detracts from just the coolness of the pirate ship. I like terrain that, I mean, it's the most advanced piece of terrain I think besides the castle ever released, so it's I hope the competitive community doesn't like freak out over it and they try to include it in some of the maps. But it's, in terms of like, you know, just, I'm always looking for good backgrounds when I'm making like the close-up shots or the analysis of the I just got some sound here. The analysis, like, of my figures. Sorry, I just started jumping up in my ear here. The analysis of figure. It's just nice to have some really cool background stuff. So I'm excited for it. I think it's fun. Also, the fact that you get wood tiles. There's so much you can do with wood tiles, cannons, and usable ladders. I just hope people get creative with it. I don't see needing more than one set of it though, but I'm definitely building some very cool beach maps. The tournament map channel has been up in arms over the pirate ship, unfortunately. Yeah, I can imagine they are. Tournament maps are a little... I just think... I have to visualize it again, but it has like holes like in the from like the windows and stuff like that. Let me look at it again, just to, because I saw it actually in person at Gen Con. But the problem is they had like at the bottom shelf, so you had to like get on your knees to look at it properly. Because I think it has like windows this way that you can shoot out of, which I think is which I think is really cool. I think we need more things where like angles matter, where you're firing at. I like that you can kind of build onto the ship. It's such a cool thing, and I know the competitive people are like, it's cool, we'll probably not use it ever. I get the cannons, like I get not including cannons in competitive maps, even though I think you should, because I think they're cool. Sometimes I think a little bit of the magic of the game gets lost when things are so balanced, and I get like, no one's going to convince me that it's not necessary. But I think we need it. We have the way maps are built. They're all feel the same. I think we should have glyphs in the center of more maps instead of off to the side. I think starting off on a higher elevation, going down lower is fun. There's just some stuff that I'd love to see more of. But I definitely foresee them not liking that, unfortunately. But for my home games, definitely, it's going to be a staple. It's going to be hard for me not to put it on every map. Like, for the most part, the only Heroscape terrain we've ever received were trees and the same rock outcrops. So it's nice just to have something that's like a structure on the map, like a big structure that you can interact with. I guess we've had the castle walls, but no one uses those properly because they're a little bit unwieldy to make the game. Like, I get not using castle walls, like those are Those are a little, they can really, they're for a whole different type of game that's played, which honestly I wish Castle Siege was a more just thing that showed up at events, but it's not. And I get it, but I'm looking to run my own event here in Kansas next year sometime. I'm gonna kind of look into the details, and I definitely plan on having like a Helm's Deep map set up, where pretty much players will play the good side or the bad side, and it's just kind of like an all event kind of thing. People can just hop on and try to break the castle walls, and I haven't thought of all the rules, but it'd be like fun to have this big display in the center of things. People just hop on and play during free time. Yeah, I don't think it would be in people's start zones, but I think there's some use to it. I hope map makers get a little creative, because there's some really fun. It's just I like the wood tiles. I think wood tiles will definitely get used a lot more. I really love the toxic tiles. Like, those are my favorite tiles in the whole game. I think they just would look really good on maps. Like, I want to get enough to build like a skull, like a glowing skull in the center of the map, and so with that. But I think their distribution is a little bit limited, so I'll have to gradually get those tiles, since there's not like a way just to get them individually. Let's get my smallest brush here and see, glowing eyes. Let's see here. But all I have to say is I'm a fan of things that make true line of sight important, as well as are just visually unique. Like, you put that ship on any map in any game store, and people are gonna come over and look at it. And it has uses, like if you play D&D and you know, it's pirate ship terrain is actually like really hard to find. Let me look at Morgoloth here. Let's get a little bit of white for his eyes. And I have the silver gray. I actually got a Gen Con that I'm going to try out. Might match the color a bit more of what we're looking for. We're kind of just picking out these details on it. Some people online loathe some of the new terrain packs, but new terrain is just crazy. Yeah, like the fact that the common man can just get dungeon tiles now is just like enough to make me happy. Like, I'm definitely going to be investing in some of those. Just because I think dungeon terrain is the best looking terrain out of, like, just kind of uniformly, just to build maps with and stuff like that. I mean, it's easy to complain about stuff, but I really genuinely, like, I think I bought like 4 lava sets because I really only had one half broken lava set. Like, that was the thing missing in my collection there. Again, I'm making unwise decisions, but I have a bunch of terrain. I really don't play enough to justify how much terrain I have. But I don't know, I'm kind of a terrain monger. I've been working, I think next year I'll work on a video of just how much terrain do I actually have, and put it all out and build a giant map. But honestly, the toughest part about new terrain is that it's not going to be accepted just because it's not integrated very well into map making software. So until we get better map making software, I see nothing being experimented with. Like, Heroscape map making software is so antiquated. Like I would love. That's the thing that needs the most facelift. Like all of Heroscape. Yeah, new terrain is overall just a net positive. Yeah, new players can invest in it. And also it's just like the sets are better than classic sets. Like I think the only one that hasn't compared very well is the road set. That one was a little disappointing. But you also get double the roads, and you don't end up with like 10 Dumatef guards. So it gives you exact. You know, you're buying your terrain, you get the terrain, which is nice. Get 3 boxes of Lance Valhalla and 3 boxes of trees with disposable terrain. Yeah, like I just have my kids play with my old terrain now. They just play with it and they break it. I'm not like too sad about it. Like it's crumbling to dust anyways. Honestly, if like we're being honest, I'm so happy they released the game with the terrain because I've been saving this stuff for years, hoping my kids would someday get to play with me. And I was getting really worried because my stuff was just starting to break so fast and none of it new was being made. I was like, there's going to be a point where we just can't play the game anymore. So even if like Renegade closes Heroscape tomorrow, like they've ensured like decades of play for those who want to do it and who keep it with all that terrain just by refreshing it, making the mold stronger. It was actually exciting. My kids all played their first game with me a couple days ago. Of course, it was like the basic side. They're still pretty young. The oldest is like 6 years old. So, and he loved the game. He was head over heels. He's probably ready for the master set, but he hasn't fully mastered reading yet. But it was pretty fun. The new lava set is great, which had a bit more single hex lava for proxy crabs, but otherwise a pretty great set. Yeah, that's what the biggest complaint I have. I just wish they would just sell single hex terrain sleeves, like just like 20 bucks, 25 bucks, and you just get like 25 tiles that you can just, and then that would solve I think everyone's issues with things. Just sell those kind of components separately, smaller SKUs. I'm sure there's a reason why. Some people don't like the 24 hex lava tiles. I love them. I like for my home games when I kind of don't want to play for 4 hours. I just make the start zone lava hexes. That way, it kind of encourages, because I have some players at my house or around me who just like to camp in their start zone and do nothing. So it puts a little fire under their rear. We're gonna give it a ton of critique, but it's hard to deny that the Heroscape can be strong in the long run. If you've been to Gen Con, you would see that Heroscape is like a force there. They're on the tote bags, they're on the banners, like it's everywhere. They're invested in this game. Like this is their flagship at this point, and they're determined to kind of make this a household name. So that's pretty respectable, and they do a lot with the community. You know, I shouldn't be receiving product. I'm just this little guy who paints weird figures for pre-painted game, but they send me product to review, and it's all just I hate when they just get dogpiled. I think it's okay to give them legitimate concerns, like, hey, what's the reason for this? But you know, I like to remember they're just people. And in terms of like timelines, if we were like still at Hasbro with Avalon Hill, Heroscape would be shelved at this point. Based off what they're doing with Hero Quest, and like Hero Quest is still being made, but it's just kind of diminishing. Teach him how to speed paint. Oh yeah, my son has already started speed painting. Let's see. Here, I'll grab it. This is his model he painted the other day. All by himself. So, no, I have him paint with me. I have twins that are 4. They just like to dunk it in paint. But the oldest, he likes to take his time on things. Alright. We are just getting paint on this. Yeah, the real scariest thing out there is Hasbro for Scape-oween. Oh yeah, he's psyched. I like that kid. My goal is for Scape to be around long enough that, or the scene to be around long enough that he gets to go to ScapeCon and Gen Con, or all my kids do with me. Because right now I just gotta go by myself. I didn't think I would like cons so much. I was always kind of afraid to go, and then I started going, and I'm kind of hooked. Now I'm kind of using all my vacation days to go to these things. And that looks great. Yeah, thank you. I'll tell him he'll be happy about that. All right, let's get a little bit of gray. No, do we want to do gray blue or just go brighter? Let's get a little bit of gray blue on this. And mix that with a bit of this tone here. Seeing Hasbro pull license from G.I. phone game was drawn from the figures. It's so funny. Like, I'm surprised G.I. Joe doesn't have like a TV show or like really anything modern for it. Maybe there is, I just don't know about it. But it just seems like something that like you either grew up with or didn't. But are there like comics for it? Like, how do you even like get into G.I. Joe besides like the figures? So you can use that ivory. And very carefully, we're going to put a single dot in his eyes. Yeah, I know that they had a couple live action movies coming out, but like I heard they weren't very good. So it's kind of, it's not like a property that's like flourishing. Like, oh yeah, you have to go watch the G.I. Joe show. I feel like it would do well, like if they made a mature G.I. Joe. It seems like there's definitely a lot of interest in it. But maybe it's the appeal is kind of its innocence. The only stuff I know about G.I. Joe is from the community G.I. Joe special. So. There we go. Just add in these last little bits of brightness here. Really make this thing start to stand out. Let's see, what color do I want to use for blood here? Alright, we'll get this carmine red. We'll mix a little bit of this warm brown into it, I think. If I can find it. Oh, we'll use dark flash, close enough. Remember Sergeant Drake. I wonder if Renegade will ever entertain the idea of short Heroscape clips like Hasbro did early on. Now that is a fascinating idea. I feel like it would do really well. Honestly, my ultimate goal is to make some animations for Heroscape. I'm not the best drawer, but my sister is. We've currently been sketching ideas to maybe make some animatics together. So I would love to do that. Do a little bit of voice acting and do a little bit of clips, but that's kind of a far distant plan. But Renegade doing it, I think Renegade does need to hit Heroscape on a different level beyond just kind of exposure at big events. I think if they can kind of have it capture the zeitgeist a bit, I think we're doing really good. Sergeant Drake versus Pepper floating around. Yeah, I would love some more. I wish they kind of did it like more creative ways, like found some like fun animation styles to really make it come to life. All right, we're taking some bold pyro red here, and we're adding this to the eye holes. Hopefully, not trying to mess up everything we've done thus far. There we go, I just add a bit of menace to Morgy here. Alright, I think anything else is going to take a lot longer and a lot more focus on it, but this is kind of the intro. We're going to definitely work on this guy a lot more, but overall, I think we're getting to a really good spot with Morgoloth. I'm definitely going to start buffing up the antlers a bit and do some more fun things with this cloak. But really, I kind of just need to paint these legs and attach them before we kind of continue on. But thanks to all who are chatting. I love chatting with you all. As I was running out of things to say, think of. So thanks all for hopping on and listening. Definitely stay tuned for more spooky Scape-oween stuff. Working on the how to paint the Grave Grim video next, and some stuff with some zombies and vampires, and I don't know. I have a lot of ideas cooking, but it's also coincidentally the busiest month of the year for me in terms of work and stuff with that. So we'll see what we can get done. But regardless, it's a fun time to be a Scape fan, and I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend. And you all take care.